Aloha and welcome. My name is Granya and today I will be presenting my senior capstone project concerning the sinking of positively buoyant polymers in the water column. Plastic pollution in the ocean is becoming increasingly problematic. Every year, around 8 million metric tons of plastic waste winds up in the ocean. However, the amount of plastic currently visible on the surface is only a fraction of what's recorded entering the system. The amount of globally distributed plastic currently on the surface is estimated to be between 7,000 and 35,000 tons, implying that there is missing plastic from the surface. The sinking behavior of plastic and the vertical transport mechanisms are still unknown and understudied. Once plastic enters the ocean, it is distributed into different compartments through multiple pathways. One pathway is vertical transport. In the ocean, many variables can influence vertical transport. To account for the missing plastic from the ocean surface, the study aimed to identify if the characteristics of plastic and biological growth were driving the vertical transport of these microplastics. Latest research identifies biological growth to be the predominant driving force of sinking behavior. Few studies have looked into the characteristics of plastic. Image analysis was used to determine driving forces of the vertical transport. Biological growth on a particle has been termed as biofouling. This image was taken in the lab on a small film for reference. A study revealed that biofouling causes an increase in plastic density, causing it to sink, which is one of the hypotheses to account for the unexpectedly low amount of buoyant plastic debris encountered at the ocean surface. The study was carried out in a saltwater tank located at the Hawaii Pacific's Makapu'u campus. The Ocean Cleanup and the Center for Marine Debris Research are using the tank as a simulated weather system for a larger project looking into the degradation processes of plastic over time. My study is one experiment of many coming from the tank setup. This study uses 3 size categories, 3 shapes for 3 polymer types: polypropylene, high-density polyethylene, and low-density polyethylene. This diagram shows the 3 different compartments of the basket. In the tank, the visual percentage of each particle type was determined by looking at what compartment in the particle was floating in using a GoPro. Every week, the particle visual percent data was taken visually by taking an initial picture of each basket from above to capture the floating particles. Then a video was taken using a GoPro clasped to a PVC pipe. I would then go frame by frame to visually estimate the proportion of each shape in each compartment for each plastic particle. Biomass assessment was collected from the tank with 3 replicates of each shape. They were put in the drying oven at 40 degrees Celsius for 72 hours. They were weighed with their biomass, cleaned with DI water, and weighed after to get an average biomass per particle type. The tank experienced natural biofouling, as you can see. The algal growth on the particles over time started the first week that I started the visual assessments, which was week 19 of the initial experiment. 2 statistical tests were run: correlations for visual percent on bottom over time and percent on surface by biomass for all polymer types, shapes, and sizes. Distributions were run to determine that the data was normally distributed. If it was normal, Pearson p-values were used. If not, Spearman was used. A multiple regression was conducted to determine which variable significantly influenced the sinking. As you can see, for the characteristics of plastic tested, significant particles are highlighted in green. The visual percent of the particles on the bottom of the basket for the y-axis, and time for the x-axis. You can see that polypropylene had 1 significant particle, high-density polyethylene had 2, and both were large, and LDPE had the most significant particles. For biomass affecting particles, the visual percent of particles on the surface is on the y-axis, with biomass in grams on the x-axis. There were only 2 significant particles shown from this experiment, which were LDPE and high-density polyethylene small cubes. The multiple regression revealed size, shape, and polymer as all significant predictors of vertical transport from the surface of the water. The results of biomass affecting particle transport may have been shown to be minimal because of video collection not starting until 4 months into the experiment. This was because I did not have my capstone project decided on until then. By this time, there was significant algal growth in the baskets, so I was unable to capture the tipping point of possible negative effects of algal growth on the particles. However, many papers investigating this phenomenon say algal growth is the main reason for vertical transport, but they use theoretical modeling approaches while we were using empirical experimental data showing that shape, size, and polymer type were the most significant factors to affect sinking. The study was extremely successful by determining all characteristics as predictors of sinking, while biomass was not significantly affecting particles to sink, which does not align with current published models. This analysis yielded significant results, and there are many other tests being conducted in the sink for other projects looking at biomass effects on sinking that are coming still. Since the research on biomass is based on models, this study gives us insight on the effects of biomass in an experimental setup. And moreover, it reveals that we need more research and experimental data to feed into these transport models to make them more accurate. The study gave insight into the location of missing plastic from the surface ocean by understanding the significant driving forces affecting vertical transport of plastic particles. We now know that plastics are sinking through time, and to begin to understand where in the ocean the rest of the plastic may be distributed, knowing that the characteristics of plastic contribute heavily to their transport is valuable information that can be used to help close the mass balance of plastics in the ocean. Thank you so much